So because I'm running on Mac, I have to do this via the terminal. If you're running Windows, you can do this via the SSH client. So on a Mac, or on Ubuntu or some Linux version, it's SSH, my username at user.palmetto.clemson.edu. And then it will prompt you for your password, but for me it doesn't, and that's okay. And so here you see that you're logged in to the Palmetto cluster. And the reason we're doing this today is because the Palmetto cluster runs Linux. And we're here to learn Linux, right? How many of you are here to learn Linux because you're eventually interested in using the Palmetto cluster? Right, so that's a good majority of you. So logging into the cluster is a worthwhile exercise. Let's actually figure out why everyone else is here. Some reasons for why you're here today to learn Linux. Yes?
Oh, just to kind of get into the admin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Some of you are interested in learning how to be sysadmins. Some of you are maybe interested in using resources like the Palmetto cluster or the cloud. And these resources can be accessed primarily only through Linux systems, right? They run Linux themselves, and so in order to be using cloud resources or in order to be using the Palmetto cluster, you need to know how to learn Linux. Some of you might be interested in automating tasks, and that's something that Linux excels at. You see that the way you interact with the Linux system is primarily through the command line, right? And this is different from how you interact with Windows or your Mac. To interact to delete a file, for example, on a Mac, you would right-click on the file and then click on delete, and it goes into the recycle bin or trash, and then you empty trash. But the way you do it on Linux is fairly different. You will have to do it through this command line interface. Everything that we do, to interact with the operating system will be via the command line. And we'll see today how that has its advantages. Okay, so to get started today, you have to log into the cluster. And then there are some other startup instructions here. The first of which asks you to download some data into the cluster. And you don't have to understand any of this for now. We'll explain it as we go along. But just go ahead and start typing in these commands into the window you see when you log into the cluster. And there's a small typo here, which is why this second command doesn't work. The unzip swc-data-hpc.zip should be simply unzip data-hpc.zip. So you don't have to have the swc hyphen. So put down all your stickies, red or green, and if you're able to download the data, unzip it, and then verify that it has been unzipped by following the instruction here. Put up a green sticky, and then I'll know that we can move on.